We're so flipping late to recording this episode. You could almost call us Pierre Gasly. Welcome back to the 305K. I'm Jackson Lang along with my co-host Tucker Hobart. We are here to debrief the Miami Grand Prix, which happened 2 weeks ago, but school's wrapping up, so we're trying to record whenever we can. I think the little summary is Antonelli is now up 20 points on George Russell after winning. Again, the McLarens had a strong 2-3 and seemed like they're a little bit back into it. Max spun on the first lap, contesting Leclerc for the lead and finished in P5 in the end. Colapinto, after we just always talk bad on him, drove a P7, which is pretty impressive. And Leclerc had a penalty near the end and it dropped him down to P8. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I will say to your point about school and to your point about Leclerc, AP test kind of came in in terms of the mojo of the 305K, kind of had a Shaw Leclerc where we faltered near the end. But let me tell you something. Shaw Leclerc spun on that second or that last lap, almost put in the wall, did have damage. Sorry, he did have damage with the wall. Didn't go out of the race, but goes on, limps out the last bit of this race, goes off track a little bit because he's got a broken car, and the FIA slaps 20 seconds of penalties on him. And I think that that's just so emblematic of the FIA nowadays. It's so random. We don't You didn't see a penalty on Franco Colapinto crashing into Lewis in the first few laps, even though it gave Lewis damage and probably hurt his race pace. But now, because Charles Leclerc goes off track after he's literally damaged his car, he has no other choice. He's not gaining anything from going off track. He gets 20 seconds of penalties, drops him down two places to P8.
It's just that's such an unbelievable length of penalty. Like there's 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but that's like the equivalent of a drive through almost.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's harsh.
it is harsh. And the other side of it is that in the process of going off track in that last lap and a half, pretty much, he lost out positions. I mean, he was dropping like a stone in the order. He went from fighting for P3 to being in P6 before the penalties. That's clearly showing to me that he's not getting any benefit from what he's doing. He's trying to mitigate any damage. I just don't see how you can punish a driver for that if he goes off track in that situation. It's such a strange thing to penalize him for keeping the car out of the wall when he's got damage. It just
Yeah,
doesn't seem right to me.
yeah, and I feel like you don't see a lot of penalties given out for like really skipping tracks. It just all in all
Hmm.
didn't make sense and really kind of screwed him over because Max had a very good comeback drive, and he ended up finishing in front of Charles Leclerc because of it. Not necessarily because of that penalty, but Max had a very impressive
Well,
drive that I
yeah,
feel like,
because of the damage that Shaw had from the crash. Yeah,
yeah. Um, P5 after spinning on the first lap being P20. It's or P22. Wow, I'm still getting used to saying that.
I think
Right?
he was
Was he in last?
P10.
Oh, did he
No, he
not
was
go
in
down to
P10.
last? Oh,
He
wow.
didn't go down to last. But he lost out a fair amount of places.
Mm,
Like I was going to touch on this too. It was a very good recovery drive from him, and he showed off some pace. He managed to, because of that spin, he managed to show that he had qualifying pace, and then
mm,
go in and show that he had race pace to recover.
yeah.
So it was a
It's
weird drive. You saw him spin on that first lap, and I expected him to go into a wall, or I expected him to at least have a lot of work. He did have a lot of work to do. You could see the flat spots in his tires when he was booting it up after going around. He
yeah.
lost at a lot of places, but he was pretty efficient cutting back through the pack. He had some pretty aggressive passes, late moves, especially on the Williams when you look at it. Um, you know, that last corner off the back straight is just one where this year we were seeing a lot of late lunges, just
And,
tossing it in there. I
yeah,
like we touched on with the Gasly crash. One that went wrong was Liam Lawson going up the inside, locking up a little bit, and tossing Gasly head over heels into the barriers, and taking them both out of the race. So
yeah,
that was the kind of drawback on it, but for the most part, it was pretty clean.
yeah, it's I think to touch on the Max a little bit, it's very funny because I feel like that car has had like no race pace this year and just been like, Max constantly complaining and complaining about it. And then all of a sudden he has a pretty impressive comeback drive, making, as you said, some very impressive overtakes. But that Gasly crash, it's a bit scary, but
It was pretty
it,
freaky.
it's a testament to the cars and the safety developments throughout the years now. Um,
Hmm.
the fact that someone
Yeah.
can like land, like just go flying in a circle and touch on the
Yeah.
ground with like the halo, it's just it's impressive, kind
I
of
mean,
that
yeah,
he's coming out
we're not in the 60s anymore when people are dying by the
dying.
truckload from
Yeah,
F1.
I don't know.
It is good to see. And the other crash, obviously, we you talked about Red Bull's Isaac Hadjar. Would have been interesting, I think, to see how he would have done. Otherwise, it's been a weird season for Red Bull because we haven't gotten like a ton of reference. In Australia, Max working from the back of the pack had a good recovery drive, and Isaac Hadjar obviously DNF from mechanics. And then China, it just looked like they had no pace at all.
Yep.
Japan was a little bit questionable, but now we had that big break. Cars are looking a little bit different, and it looked like they were kind of back on the horse. Um, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how when they have two cars actually finishing the race and
Yeah,
putting out decent pace, how it's going to go. So.
yeah. I mean, we're gonna have Canada this week, which it took us so long to record this episode that we kind of skipped a little break in the schedule. So we'll be glad to get
Mhm.
racing in Montreal.
The other obvious one coming out of this break is McLaren look like they're back near the front.
Yeah, I kind of touched on that in the intro. 2-3. Back to kind of their old ways. Kimmy's still flying at the front. But
Yeah.
I mean, just a solid race from them. I don't think there was not much drama with them,
Well, and
to my
considering that they
knowledge.
had one driver finish a race in the first two races,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's a pretty good turn of events for him.
yeah. I think it is too. On the little end, and I mean, P4 isn't a horrible result, but I feel like George Russell should be getting more podiums than he is. And I was so devastated that you stole him from my podium and picking him P1 that it didn't actually end up like making it
Yeah.
worse for me. He should.
No,
What's going on?
I don't
If there
know.
is anything
I
going on.
it's funny that it feels like last year again where you have the younger driver who is not really in the talk of favorite, who's taking an early lead in the championship. Obviously last year, Oscar then went on a pretty rough run of
Well,
form after that
stinker.
and coughed it
Yeah,
up. But
that was a bit
it'll
later
be
in the
interesting to
season, though.
see how yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Kimi deals with it because I think that I don't know. It would be really interesting to see what happens because I don't know if he has the experience to kind of stick with it, but at the same time his pace is so good that who knows.
He's definitely driving mature. It doesn't feel.
Yeah.
It almost feels like he's a seasoned vet out there. It's not like he's driving too erratically, right? It's just like strong,
Yeah.
good racing, good. Well, actually, okay qualifying, and then the Mercedes has not been good off the line, and it's
Yeah, yeah.
another testament of the Ferrari. Leclerc's P1 in like by turn four. After
Hmm.
battling with Verstappen, it's like if the Ferrari can get a little bit more pace during the race, those starts are still an advantage. And I don't know, I haven't seen another car jump off the line like they do yet.
Hmm.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a little bit strange and it is the Mercedes that seems to be lagging behind the most, specifically
Yeah.
Kimi.
Yep.
Um and I can't decide if it feels like it's more Kimi than it is the car because I feel like Russell's been okay and the McLaren have looked pretty good off the line. So it tells me that it's not necessarily the Mercedes engine specifically. Maybe it's something just getting used to the regulations. Maybe, it's down to the fact that it's experience. Kimi hasn't been in F1 that long. It's a different
Yeah.
car now. It's something to get used to, and the other drivers are able to adjust quicker. I don't know. What I will say about the racing is that I think the mistake in China that Kimi had leading where he locked up into a heavy braking zone, went off the track, came back on. He had a fine cushion, wasn't an issue in terms of the result of the race. I actually think that that was a pretty important moment for him. And
Yeah.
it reminds me back in 22 with Charles Leclerc, who was leading the championship in the first five races or so and struggled with the team's reliability, but also struggled with his own reliability, crashing from the lead of the race in France, having a lot of these
Yeah.
mistakes that weren't really forced. I think it was good for Kimi to have a little bit of a heart-dropping moment from the lead of the race, just
Yeah.
so he can get that experience and not get too complacent in the lead of the race. And in a
Yeah.
track where there's a ton of runoff area and it didn't matter to him, I think that's a valuable kind of learning moment for him. And
Lesson.
maybe, yeah, exactly. It didn't affect him points wise. So I think going down the line, if he's gonna have struggles It
Yep.
just happens. He's probably
It's
going to drop
natural.
points. He's probably going to crash at least once. For him to have moments like that and learn from them and be able to develop rather than make it a habit like Oscar did last year, I think will serve him very well and could lead to him winning the championship.
Championship. Yeah, it's crazy that a driver in year two has a very real chance in winning the championship. You just
Well, and he's like 2 years older than me, one
yeah,
year older than you.
that always now that I'm getting older and seeing like, Connor Griffin, this is a Pirates reference, but like Connor Griffin's
Yeah.
20 years old and like 2.5 years older than me, and he's raking in the MLB, and I'm sitting here recording a podcast, so not that that's bad, but
No, no,
he did
it's
sign a
just
contract for $140 million though, so that's where the big
could
difference.
spread the wealth a little bit.
Yeah,
It's just
really.
crazy to me that Kimi Antonelli got his driver's license last year,
Yeah,
and
I
he's
literally
driving now.
got my driver's
And then he
license.
crashed his car.
Okay, that was funny. I literally,
Not
I
great.
got my driver's license before Kimi Antonelli. I can say that at least.
Yeah, almost as good as it. Maybe you should be going to
Maybe
Mercedes.
maybe I should be leading the F1 championship. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe your parents should be getting you a really expensive Mercedes car, and then you can crash it in a tunnel. I always think that's fascinating. I saw a video of Charles Leclerc crashing his car in
Oh,
Monaco around the
was
Monaco
that the one
hairpin.
where? Yeah, I
Like a
saw
fender
that.
bender. Crash is a heavy word, fender bender. I just
Yeah.
you're supposed to get bored out there when they're in like not 150-mile-per-hour traffic and just like
Well,
don't think
Kimi
about it.
Antonelli said on Drive to Survive that like going the speed limit at 25 whatever is boring, and I was like,
I mean, that's true for me too.
yeah, oh
I don't
yeah,
even have a license, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, I must say that it's like I just if you have a guy who's used to going 200 miles per hour, either I would say get out of the driver's seat because I don't want you to, push this Honda Civic to that speed, or I would say get in the driver's seat because you obviously can control the car. But
yeah,
if he's going out there in his, $500,000 well, it's probably more than that. Probably more than
that's
that.
definitely more that
His Ferrari,
AMG.
like I don't know. I feel like you got to have a little bit of care. That was, I mean,
Yeah. The
who
best part
knows?
is they just kept driving along. It wasn't like in Leclerc's case, it didn't matter.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of maneuverability, it's probably not the worst Ferrari he's ever driven. I'll put it
No.
that way. If he, especially last year, I think he might have
Oh,
preferred to take his home car out on track.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
we got Canada coming up, so
Yeah, we do.
that's always a fun race.
Funny
Last year
story.
was
Funny
what?
story for the 305K. And I'm actually very mad at the Canadian Grand Prix. I applied for media accreditation
Oh, that's
with the
right.
305K's name, and they emailed me back and said that there were so many requests that they were very exclusive and could not accept my request, which to me means that they don't think that we're serious enough, which I think is frankly ridiculous. They don't
Yeah,
think that we're
I
formal enough
agree.
as a news organization.
I agree.
So I will be looking at the Canadian Grand Prix in a different light this year, in a different vein. It really made me sad.
Yeah.
Um, they're gonna, approve some asshole from Sky Sports or something instead of me,
I was
who's gonna
thinking
write
Sky
some column. I
Sports.
don't know. I'm sure it'll be worse than what we could have produced about it. So, um, I guess
Oh
I'll watch
man.
it. I guess I'll support the
I
race.
guess. I guess I'll indulge. All
I
right.
completely forgot about it too. I applied for it months ago, and I saw him and I was like, "What is this guy talking about?" I was like, "Oh,
When'd you get that email?
like I got it like 2 days ago."
Oh my God.
They were
Yeah.
taking their time.
Try booking the flight now.
I mean, clearly they were looking over my application with like a very, very
Yeah, they probably
deep
took us to the third
interest.
round, third round of
Yeah, exactly. I
third
think I made it
round.
to the last round. They like kicked out all the, fake news organizations like, I don't know, New York Post, and left the 305K until the last order where they had to kick out the last 100 applications.
Yeah, yeah.
Must have been a
Well,
flip of the coin with,
we'll get him next year. Maybe
we'll get
we'll
them
get it
next
at
time.
Monza if I can go to that race.
Yeah. So
All right.
we'll see you guys
We'll
then
see you guys
from
next week.
home, unfortunately.
Yeah, sadly.
Thank you for watching.